Okay, here we are. This is the second part of this story. Let's go and continue. After a while, I felt hungry. Daddy had packed me a lunch and a dinner to eat one at a time. I ate almost everything at once. Then my belly felt tight and I was kind of sleepy. I closed my eyes and dreamed about Mama and Daddy getting ready for those babies. Would they even miss me? Later, when I woke up, I ate the last bit of my dinner and thought about my birthday. Would they make my lemon cake and take me to a baseball game in New York? The sky turned from dark blue to black. I was getting sleepy all over again. "We're almost there, son," the man next to me said. Then I saw it. New York City. Buildings stretched up to the sky. So close together. Not like North Carolina at all. "Penn Station, watch your step," the conductor said, helping me down to the platform. I did like Daddy said and found a spot for myself close to the train. Swarms of people rushed by. Soon I heard a silvery voice call my name. This had to be Aunt Nanette. I turned and saw her big smile reaching out to welcome me. She took my hand and guided me through the rushing crowds onto an underground train called the subway. "This will take us right home," she explained. Okay, do you understand what happened on these 2 pages? The boy felt hungry. James was hungry on the train, so he ate all the dinner that he had packed, that his daddy packed him, and he was a little bit worried, thinking about his mom and dad and the babies. So he fell asleep. When he woke up, it was almost dark, and the man in the train told him that they are almost there, and then he saw it. Big, big, tall buildings of New York City. Few minutes later, he got out of the train and he, like his dad said, found a spot for himself to wait for his Aunt Nanette to find him. Soon she did. She welcomed him with a nice silvery voice, and she guided him through the rushing crowds of people into a underground train called Subway, which will take them right home. What is James' biggest problem in the story? A. He thinks his aunt will not like him. B. He is nervous about riding on the train. C. He thinks he may not have a good birthday. D. He worries about his new brother and sister. And the answer is C. He thinks he may not have a good birthday with his Aunt Nanette and Uncle Romie in New York. Next page. Home was like nothing I'd ever seen before. No regular houses anywhere, just big buildings and stores of all kinds. In the windows I saw paints, fabrics, radios, and TVs. We turned into the corner building and climbed the stairs to the apartment. 5 whole flights up! Phew! I tried to catch my breath while Aunt Nanette flicked on the lights. "Uncle Romie's out talking to some people about his big art show that's coming up. He'll be home soon," Aunt Nanette said. She set some milk and a plate of cookies for me on the table. "Your uncle's working very hard, so we won't see much of him for a while. His workroom, we call it his studio, is in the front of our apartment. That's where he keeps all the things he needs to make his art." "Doesn't he just paint?" I asked. "Uncle Romie is a collage artist," Aunt Nanette explained. "He uses paints, yes, but also photographs, newspapers, cloth. He cuts and pastes them onto a board to make his paintings. That sounds kind of easy, I said. Aunt Nanette laughed. Well, there's a little more to it than that, James. When you see the paintings, you'll understand. Come, let's get you to bed. Lying in the dark, I heard heavy footsteps in the hall. A giant stared at me from the doorway. Hello there, James. Uncle Romie's voice was deep and loud, like a thunder. That's thanks for the pepper jelly, he boomed. You have a good sleep now. Then he disappeared down the hall. So what happened here on these two pages, they describe that New York, and especially place where Aunt Nanette and Uncle Romie live, this place has lots of big buildings and lots of stores. And you can see things inside the stores through the windows, like paints and fabrics and radios and TVs, boys and girls. This story happens in the past. That means in late 1970s or 60s or 1980s, okay? They did not have an elevator in the apartment building. So James and Aunt Nanette had to climb up 5 whole flights of stairs all the way up. And then when they came up home, she gave him some cookies and milk, and she explained that Uncle Romie is a very busy man because he is having some kind of an art show coming up. And then she explained to James what is he doing, what kind of artist is he. Uncle Romie is a collage artist. This is what collage looks like. When you cut out pieces of papers, or when you cut out some newspapers, magazines, photographs, and make them into some kind of an art. That kind of art we call collage, or like this. The artist can use leaves, or they can use flowers and different colors and magazines and papers, and they make them into collage. And James, he thought that it's kind of easy, but it is not, is it? How is New York different from James's hometown? A. New York has fewer people. B. New York has fewer things for children to do. C. New York has trains and cars instead of subways. D. New York has tall buildings that are close together. And the answer is D. New York has tall buildings that are close together. Very good. Let's go to the next page. The next morning, the door to Uncle Romie's studio was closed, but Aunt Nanette had plans for both of us. Today, we are going to a neighborhood called Harlem, she said. It's where Uncle Romie lived as a boy. Harlem was full of people walking, working, shopping, eating. Some were watching the goings-on from fire escapes. Others were sitting out on stoops, greeting folks who passed by, just like the people back home calling out hellos from their front porches. Most everybody seemed to know Aunt Nanette. A lot of them asked after Uncle Romie too. We bought peaches at the market, then stopped to visit a while. I watched some kids playing stickball. Go on, get in the game, Aunt Nanette said, gently pushing me over to join them. When I was all hot and sweaty, we cooled off with double chocolate scoops from the ice cream man. Later, we shared some barbecue on the rooftop way up high. I felt like I was on top of the world. As the days went by, Aunt Nanette took me all over the city. We rode a ferry boat to the Statue of Liberty, zoomed 102 floors up at the Empire State Building, window shopped the fancy stores on Fifth Avenue, gobbled hot dogs in Central Park. But it was Harlem that I liked best. I played stickball with the kids again. And on the really hot day, a whole bunch of us ran through the icy cold water that sprayed out hard from the fire hydrant. In the evenings, Annette and I sat outside listening to the street musicians playing their saxophone songs. So, as you can see, James didn't have such a bad summer vacation after all. Aunt Nanette was very kind and she took him to many places, right? She took him to Harlem, where Uncle Romie grew up. He was playing games with the kids. He had ice cream. And also he went to see Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building. He went to Fifth Avenue, to Central Park, and many, many other places. So, after all, his summer was not so bad, but that was thanks to Aunt Nanette. Question: where does Aunt Nanette take James first? A. Harlem. B. The Empire State Building. C. Central Park. Or D. The Statue of Liberty. And the answer is Harlem is the first place where Annette took him, and it is the one that he liked the most. Based on the story, how is life the same in Harlem and in North Carolina? A. People live in tall buildings in both of these places. Or B. People shop only in fancy stores, beautiful big stores. Or C. People are friendly to each other. Or D. People cook on the rooftops. What do you think? How was the life in Harlem same as North Carolina? What kind of people were living in both of these places? Yes, you guessed it. It's C. People in both of these places are friendly to each other. We will continue with the PowerPoint number 3.